morning, everybody.
Friday.
It is Friday, the day before Talk Like a Pirate Day. But in the meantime, we're going to be talking some sports, specifically football, as we get ready for your Pigskin Preview here on Great Day on KCWY. And we have Larry Collar in with us this morning to catch us up
pigskin.
on what's going on.
Well, a lot of things are going on. Of course, high school, we just had the pep rally with Dowling and Valley, and it's been interesting going out there and watching the kids in the weight room at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Jeez. Those guys are in demand because this is a big rivalry in our area.
It's the biggest in the
I was going to say,
Is it a
rivalry? That's a hard word to say. Rivalry.
You and Elmer Fudd, I'll tell you. But no, I mean, that's the biggest rivalry in the state. I mean, it's not. It goes beyond the city. It's the biggest rivalry in the state of Iowa, and they go back and forth and back and forth. Last year I was at the game when Valley upended Dowling. It's the only time in 2 years that Dowling has lost, and Valley got out to a big lead, and Dowling came back and made a run at them at the end, but Valley held them off. So that's just one of a number of big games.
How much they win by?
3.
Oh my goodness, those are the worst. I say sometimes a blowout's better. To be a player and to lose by that close. Yep. Oh, if I would have only, because then they start picking out players. It was your fault because of that thing you did.
Or they go like this play. You know, if we'd have done this play right, or this play would have gone the right way, or, you know, we hadn't. Well, Dowling turned it over a bunch last year. That's what killed him.
Oh, yeah.
He got behind early because of turnovers.
So after meeting the teams this year and doing our Pigskin pep rally, what are our predictions this year?
You want me to make a prediction on
this?
Yes.
Go.
On the record. OTR.
I'm going to go with the Tigers, and not because I went to Valley. That has nothing to do with it. But the Tigers, Dowling is still trying to work its situation out with regard to its quarterback. And, you know, they've had a couple of close scares the last couple of weeks. The one against Urbandale 2 weeks ago where they came out by 1, where they held off. In fact, they've had that goal line stands at the end. Yeah, 1 point win over Urbandale, and I think it was a 3-point win over Waukee. So I'm going to go with the Tigers this year. Rocky Lombardi, the quarterback, and the Mason kid.
His name's Rocky Lombardi.
Rocky Lombardi.
You gotta love. It's like a '50s name.
It is. That's a good name.
hitting the grand.
He had to play football.
He did.
Well, I'm thinking maybe he's related to Vince Lombardi somewhere along the line.
Do you think weather will have anything to do with tonight?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I think both teams will be prepared for this. It's going to be played at Drake Stadium, so the field will be in good shape. So
should be like horse racing, running on a wet track. Well, he likes running on a wet track.
Well, they do run more in the rain, right? I mean, they just do.
They do, and they call them mudders.
Yeah.
You have to be really careful how you say that, but they're mudders.
Yeah,
sure.
They play in the rain or they run in the mud, those kind of things.
So that's the big game everybody's talking about. What else is going on?
Well, there's some other games in high school ball. You got Waukee at Johnston. Waukee has had 2 losses. Guess who they've been to? Valley and Dowling. Exactly. They've been to Valley and Dowling. Johnston's 3-0. They're number 7 in the state, though, and they've had a lot of close scares, as Tony's been talking about. A lot of these games can go one way or the other. You know, they're like 1 or 2 or 3 point games. So Johnston is 3-0. All their games have been close. They beat Urbandale by 7 last weekend. So Johnston is playing host to Waukee. Ankeny Centennial, who lost last week to Ankeny, they're playing at Southeast Polk, and Southeast Polk got beat pretty bad by Valley. But other than that, they've been close. I mean, just had a bad game last week. You got to throw that one and, just tear it up and throw it in the trash. Right. But, and Ankeny Centennial is trying to bounce back off the loss to Ankeny. Then you've also got Cedar Falls at Urbandale. Now, Urbandale's had a couple of close losses, too. Cedar Falls is number 2 in the state. And you know what Urbandale offers up that nobody else offers? Best burgers in the area.
Well, you know what's happening at Urbandale.
What? Oh, yeah, Mr. Trump is coming in tomorrow.
Donald Trump is coming.
I did say, yeah.
And, so I don't know if it's game and then Trump, or do you know what the order? What's going on?
I'm not really sure.
I think he.
Should we call and ask him? You're the political guy. You should be able to ask.
I know he's going to be there. I got official word he was going to be there yesterday.
Well, they
but I could get a schedule.
6:30. He's speaking at 7. When do games usually happen?
Games, 7 or 7:30.
Yeah, it's a homecoming prep rally.
Right. Yeah.
So rah for the game.
Rah, now go win a game.
So Urbandale will probably get. I bet they're going to get some pretty good attendance tomorrow night at the old game.
Yeah, I think so.
Trump speaking at the game. They say that Urbandale High School reached out to a bunch, and Trump was the one who said yes first.
Yep.
So good for him. You know, that's what Iowa politics is getting involved. But we're talking pigskins right now.
We are.
I don't mean to take the.
No, it's okay, because we're going to move over to the college ranks now.
Let's do it.
We're going to talk a little bit about what we've got going on. Iowa plays host to Pittsburgh, pair of 2-0 teams.
Now this is a big game, right?
Every game is a big game, but you're right. No, I don't mean to diminish that. I don't mean to diminish that,
No,
Jackie.
but so they had the huge win last weekend, but now they're like, ooh, this could be a tough one.
Well, this could be a tough one, although Pittsburgh is without its top running back, James Conner, who is out for the season. It was injured in the second quarter of the game last weekend. Pittsburgh is also 2-0. It's a night game, which has been unusual for Iowa the last few years. They've got 2 of them this year against Pittsburgh, and then one in November, I believe it is, against Minnesota. But the Hawks get that big win, and Jason, obviously you're the big Hawkeye fan, and here's the thing I want to mention. You know, last year all these high expectations because of the light schedule, and it didn't pan out the way people wanted. I'm thinking maybe this year might be the year we were supposed to have last year.
I think you're right. Yeah.
You know, because Beathard played strong last week, threw for 215 yards, had a couple of big runs. The defense stepped up, particularly with secondary. What's that?
The defense was great in the second half.
Yeah, they really were. They held Iowa State to 66 yards overall in the second half after giving up 244 in the first half. I like the Hawks in this game. I like the way they're running the ball. We don't know about LaShawn Daniels yet. We don't know if he's going to be back. So Akram Wadley would be the second string guy behind Kanzeri tomorrow. And Drew, again, we're not sure about that. But I like the Hawks in this game tomorrow, especially playing at home. And I think they've got a little momentum now, and they feel good about themselves.
When you talk to their club, the Hawkeye Club, they're excited for this game. So
and they should be.
I'm interested to see what the outcome is. All right, who else is playing?
Well, Iowa State's gone on the road to Toledo. This is going to be interesting. How do the Cyclones bounce back after the tough loss to Iowa?
Right.
And again, they have to figure out how to run the ball if they can. A lot of people are saying, well, maybe now what you do is you don't run the ball. Maybe you throw the ball. But they've got to find a way to move the football against the Toledo team, which upset number 18 Arkansas last week, 16-12.
Right.
Now, but they gave up 500 yards of offense. So maybe Iowa State can find a way to move the football. And that's what we can hope for tomorrow.
I apologize not being here last week. Have we talked the Paul Rose situation, like he needs to win so many, or we need to be scared about what's happening?
Well, I think there is some anxiety there. Obviously, they don't put numbers on it, and they don't say we've got to win so many, Jackie. But you're right. There's obviously a concern, especially going into the conference. They didn't win any conference games last year, so you have to be. This is a big game for them too. I mean, every game is a big game, but their schedule is very. I'm trying to figure out how to put this. It's lighter up front, and it's heavier on the downside, on the backside. So they need to come out of these first 5 games. I'm thinking, first of all, at least 2 and 3, but I'm thinking more like 3 and 2, because in the second half they get the TCUs, they get the Baylors, they get the Oklahomas, and that's a grind.
Yeah.
So this is a big game for them. They beat Toledo last year. Sam Richardson threw for over 350 yards last year. He's going to have to do it again. And again, they got to find a way to get the offense going, particularly the run game, because the defense, I think, played pretty well last week. Yeah. Defense is scrambling all over the place, and they're running and they're swarming. I like their defense a lot. They just got to find a way to move the ball. Swarm.
They just got a little more work to do. Okay, what else is happening?
Well, we've got Northern Iowa got that big win against Eastern Washington last week. Remember, I know you weren't here, but we talked about the fact that Eastern Washington, the top scoring team in college football, averaging 44 points per game. Now, the Panthers came out with a 38-35 win. Now they have to go out west to Cal Poly.
Okay.
And this is going to be a tough one for them. But Northern Iowa can do this. They're still developing their quarterback situation.
I'd say they were amazing last year, but a lot of those guys graduated. So are they the same
Right, David Johnson. Right, David Johnson. And Aaron Bailey had a good week last week, ran for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. They have to continue. I think just a toss-up game. I really do. Going out west like that, I think it's going to be tough for the Panthers, but I'm hoping, let's keep our fingers crossed that they can get it done. Drake is on the road to South Dakota. Drake went to North Dakota last week, got behind 21-0 at halftime. It was 21-3 going into the fourth quarter. Then the Bulldogs got a safety. Then they got a couple of touchdowns, but they came up 3 points shy, 21-18. But that's not bad on the road at North Dakota. But now they're going back on the road to another Dakota school, South Dakota. They must love the Dakotas. And, hopefully they can come up way with this one. I feel good about this team. It's a veteran team. I've told you that before. Andy Rice is in his 3rd year as the quarterback. You've got the defense, John Huguenin and company. You've got the veteran running backs. I think this is going to be a real good team. So I like
finally,
them.
Grandview University.
Grandview's going to Kansas City to play a school I've never heard of, Avila.
Oh. Avila.
Avila University.
Got me.
Now, Jordan Cheatham, who's a Des Moines kid last week in their win over Evangel, he had 331 all-purpose yards, 165 yards on the ground, 4 rushing touchdowns, and a 95-yard kickoff return.
Oof.
So how do you top those numbers? Wow. But they can do it.
96 yards.
I'm not saying he has to do it. I'm saying they can do it.
They can do it.
They need to gear up for a playoff run, because with them they had that early loss to Baker. But you know what? That's irrelevant if you just go out and win your game. So they can go on the road, and I'm picking them to go on the road and beat Avila.
There you go.
Yeah, because we know how good Avila is, right?
The Avila Eagles.
They're amazing.
Are they the Eagles?
Not to be denied. The Avila Eagles, sure.
I did not know that.
That's your Pigskin Preview. Larry Collar, thank you so much for joining us this morning. You heard it here. He says Valley's going all the way. Just make sure you grab a raincoat when you're heading out to watch him later on tonight. We'll be right back with Jeannie Mose here on Great Day on KCWI.